Hey yo, what is going on guys? Cash and Clean here, and for today's video, I feel like I should have made this video a long time ago, but here we are. So this is going to be how to get your weeklies. So if you don't know, there's the lunar souls, the titan souls, and the despoiled divinities. There are other weeklies, like for example if we do the Wednesday stuff. So this is going to be a weekly thing. So with Patreon you can get up to 3 lustrous gem boxes when you're farming. Then with Patreon you get 6. And usually about 2 hours of farming approximately, you'll be able to get all of these. But anyway, that's not the weeklies that I'm talking about. So to get your lunar souls and all that stuff, you need to do delves, because the old way was doing shadow towers, and shadow towers are pretty useless now. The only thing you'd have to do that for is the mastery. So if we go to our badges, our gameplay badges, and if we take a look at these two over here, the shadow hydraken and the dreadnought over here, you'll have to do a certain amount for the normal difficulty, the hard ones, and the ultra. It will take a while. It's just for mastery. There's really no other reason to do shadow towers. So the main thing you have to do is delves. And in case any of you guys are new that are watching this and don't know why you need these weeklies, you can only get these once a week. They reset on Monday. So once the Monday reset happens, then that's when you can do your weeklies. And the main reason is because you can get these empowered gem boxes. There's other mastery items in here, but for the lunar souls, you can get these empowered gem boxes. And with these, you can get a ton of powering. And I have crystal here, but the main thing you want to do is get a stellar 3-star. And in case you leveled up one of your gems and you don't know if it's a 3-star, level it up to 15. If you see 2 boosts in the gem forge, then that means it's a 2-star. If you see 3, then that's a 3-star, and that's the one that you want. Now, unfortunately, you cannot get a crystal from these. So what I recommend is for your empowered gems, you can use the crystal gem converter, which is over here for 15,000 cubits or 1,500 credits. It's pretty expensive, but if you do end up using that, make sure you're using it on a 3-star empowered gem and on a good one. So I have a berserk battler over here, and all of my boosts are into light. If I use this as an example, I would level this from stellar to crystal with that. And in case you do want to use these, just make sure your gem is maxed out at a stellar 25. So level 25, then you can use these, otherwise it will not work. Anyway, that's like the main point for the lunar souls. And for Titan Souls, you have other mastery items in here. There isn't really like a whole lot of use for these Titan Souls, or like a useful thing, for example. There is the gem augmenting thing, but it's pretty expensive. It costs a lot of diamond dragonites, and if you do have the materials, go for it. Apart from that, I would say go for the mastery items. You could go for these. It gives you some flux. Not like a huge amount or anything, but it's at least something. Shaper Star Key you'll eventually need for a certain mastery item. It's not super important. Then we got shadow caches. I recommend doing these. You can not only sell these for flux, but you can open up these for the dragon fragments, which you'll need later on. I had to open up about 20-ish K of these just to get enough of the fragments. It might take you a little bit less, like 15 to 20k I would say. And then for your despoiled divinities, you could go for the costumes and craft them. They do take 4, but I recommend saving up and going for the dragon. And then once you have enough for the dragon, I think you need 50 of these. You can just double check at the dragon crucible. Then you can go for the mastery items. The mastery is really handy. It is 175 points. It is a lot, and some of the costumes are kind of cool, but the dragon is going to be pretty important, so you do want to go for that one at some point. I would say if you're brand new, just go for this one first. I would say just save these up, and then once you get 50, you can spend them on these. I'm pretty sure it's 50. Now before we begin on how to actually get these things, I do want to say how many of each thing that you get. So you have to open up 6 shadowy vaults. And if you don't know what the shadowy vault is, every 3rd depth you're going to see a shadowy vault. You have to use your delve key. So just make sure you have some keys on you. You can always just craft them at the delve. They're going to have an all-purpose key thing. Just make sure you have some delve shadow key fragments. And to get these, you have to farm in anywhere that's Uber 4 or higher. And if you're not sure what difficulty that is, since they did change the name, just add 3 to the Uber. So Uber 4 would be D7, so it'd be starting in Jurassic Jungle. I'm not sure if that's actually accurate, but I would just say as you're casually farming like gem boxes, for example, or anything like that, you'll get a bunch of these fragments. And then eventually you can use that to craft the keys. So starting with the despoiled divinities, you will get 5 of these a week, and you can only use these on 6 vaults. 6 shadowy vaults, and then that's it. So basically that's 18 times going through the delves, since it is on the 3rd depth. So you get 5 of those, and then moving on to the lunar souls, you get 18 of those a week. And these are the total amounts, by the way. It's not going to give it to you right away. So like with the lunar souls, for example, it'll give you 3 lunar souls per vault. And then after the first vault, you'll start to get the despoiled divinities. Then moving on to the titan souls, you will be getting 117 of these a week. So the first 2 vaults will give you 18, then the next 3 will give you 27. Now in order to do this, you do need to do delves. So I highly recommend doing /join and then delve. You'll find a bunch of people in the delve chat. You can say if anyone's hosting, maybe you can host one yourself. It's a lot easier if you host and then invite other people. Just say you're doing your weeklies. Maybe you can say you're doing an Ifera run for permatorches, start at depth 115, or whatever the case is. You can say you're farming multiple things and that'll get more people interested. So you can say you're doing an Ifera run for permatorches and then also a Crystal 4 run. So maybe somebody needs one of those things and then you can just farm whatever you need. You can even add on weeklies to that. So if you go over here to the Delve workbench, we have these things over here, the private moored portals. We also have these challenge ones, but don't worry about that. And the thing that kind of sucks is that you need Inner Geo to even get these things. So you basically have to do delves to craft delve portals, which doesn't really make sense to me, but it is what it is. You also have this thing. This is free. You can just do a public delve. It'll take a while to queue. It's going to find other people to queue with you. And then if it doesn't find anybody, then you're just going to solo it. It should put you in a depth that you can solo. Although I think that if you are just starting out, I do recommend doing these. Because realistically, you should be put in a depth low enough where you can actually farm them. It will be really slow. It'll take a long time, but it is possible. And in case you guys were wondering, I highly recommend depth steppers. They're pretty expensive, but this is the Ifera one, for example. You can get 25 portals for 750k. But if you are new to the game, I highly recommend these. These are super cheap. You can get the depth steppers, so 40k, 27 of these. This is really good. And don't get these confused with these ones. These are delve gateways. If you put down a regular gateway, it's going to put you at a certain amount. So you might start too high if you've done too many delves with a certain class. So like if I put down my Ifera portal, it's going to start me at 185 because I've done a ton of delves with Boom Ranger. I don't know how the point system exactly works, but I've made a video about this on what I think, so you can check that video if you want to. But basically over a certain time, you're going to get a huge number, which you cannot solo. I'm definitely not going to solo 185, but the portal that I put down is actually a depth stepper. So the cool thing about this is that I can pick whatever depth I want below the number it gives. So I can just do 115, for example. So if I do that, as you can see, depth 115. And if you're just like super brand new to the game, the delve might be a little bit too hard. I highly recommend, I can't really change it because I just put that down. Let me fix this. I highly recommend starting at like depth 20, because after depth 20, you'll start seeing the shadowy vaults, and it should be easy enough. You should be doing plenty of damage here, especially if you're brand new to the game. So I'm going to load myself up into 20, I guess. Oh, this is Ifera, so the lowest I can go is 85. Alright, so I put down a regular private one, so I'm just going to put myself at depth 20. I guess the lowest is 23, but that should be fine. That's plenty. So just go into depth 23. I'll go in and then I'll show you an example of what this would look like. So we have to kill 29 creatures and then reach the end, and you have a time limit. So basically, you'll go around, you'll see some enemies, and you fight them and go to the boss room. I made a little mistake. I somehow started at depth 185. I will be right back. Okay, this should be better, but basically same thing. So this one's empty 5 rooms of creatures. So just look around in your room, you'll see a bunch of enemies, and over here, this is the final one. So once you do that, it'll change up here. So this is 4. So once you do that, just make sure to complete the objective for every room, if this is what you have, for example, and then just go to the boss room and I'll meet you guys there. And once you make it to the end, it's going to be a little boss room over here. Just continue following the delve. And once you defeat the boss, there's going to be a key over here. You press E on and you wait until you get to the next step. So this is how you advance forward. So it'll open up with the portal and you basically do the same thing with a different objective. All right, so this is the final one. And when I say final one, this is the shadowy vault. You can just kind of hover over your mouse. It's going to be this blue looking thing. You will find other blue looking things, but just pay attention to if this is the third one or not. So this is the third depth and this is the shadowy vault. So I guess I'll just meet you guys at the boss room. All right, so this is the boss room. We made it in. And once you defeat the boss, as we do that, you'll have 2 chests. So you have that one, and then this is the one you want to look for. This is the shadowy vault. And in case you forgot to craft some keys, you will have this all-purpose key mold. It'll be somewhere in the room, so you can just craft your delve keys. There's a good chance you'll complete some badges. It'll give you more keys or something like that. So once you do, just make sure to equip it into your hotbar here. And then I'm not going to do it, but basically just open that and you do this 6 times to get all of your weeklies. And once Monday comes around, you'll do the same thing again. It is a little bit slow if you do this solo, so if you do invite other people or if other people do happen to join, it'll be a lot more faster. Maybe you guys can find somebody streaming, hosting some delves, who knows, whatever the case may be. So this is more so for you returning players or new players. Just know that shadow towers are no longer important as of right now, and to get your weeklies, you have to do delves. If there is something I missed, which there is a chance that I might have, let me know in the comments down below and I'll probably pin that. But anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you find yourself coming back, and I will talk to you all later.